when a space probe discovers the debris of the Nostromo, the ship from the original Alien film, in 2014-42. Before taking off, it opens a hatch and takes out what looks to be an organic thing. After being brought to a space station, a team of scientists opens this object. A portion of the object is removed for study, and the portion that remains exposes the presence of an extraterrestrial species called xenomorph. 6 months later, Rain has a conversation with a worker for the mining colony's controlling company, Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Rain says she should be allowed to leave as she has completed her assigned work. But the clerk informs her that she cannot go since there are not enough workers and she would be sent to the mines instead. Her quota has been updated by the system, allowing her to be released from contract after 5 years. Rain sees some punks beating up her adopted brother Andy at that same moment. She checks on Andy, who is bleeding white due to his android status, before running to scare them away. Rain resets Andy with a unique chip to help him relax. Rain then receives a message from Tyler, her ex-boyfriend, inviting her over. When the siblings make it to Tyler's ship, the Corbelan, Tyler and his family explain that a derelict spaceship is drifting in orbit above the colony. This ship has multiple hypersleep chambers, and if they salvage them, they could finally escape the colony. They want Rain to join them because she can bring Andy, who can connect with the ship's computer and release any locks they may encounter. The Corbelan soon takes off, and Bjorn, Tyler's cousin, does a clever lighting trick. The persistent storm causes the ship to tremble a lot, but as soon as they are above the clouds, everything goes smoothly. They are shocked to learn that the abandoned ship is a full station when they eventually locate it. Additionally, it is nearer the rings than scientists initially believed, and they predict a 36-hour collision. Tyler assures them that they should be in and out in 30 minutes, so they should not worry. Rain asks Andy whether he is sure he wants to go on in private, and he responds that he does because her dad has given him only one command: to make Rain happy. Andy, Bjorn, and Tyler board the spacecraft with a temperature scanner as soon as it links to the station. Andy inserts his finger into the first lock, allowing the trio to enter even though they had to squeeze through an extremely small opening. Every few minutes, the station's artificial gravity undergoes a purge, which means it is continually on and off. The group eventually emerges from the passage and enters a room where the pods are located by floating. Bjorn falls at that very instant when the gravity goes out, so Andy uses the station's computer to turn on the power and stop gravity. Upon inspecting the pods, they regretfully find that they are short on fuel for the 9-year journey to the closest planet. Tyler and his partners go in search of more fuel, leaving the pods for the ladies to pick up. Navarro, Bjorn's sister, flies the Corbelan and successfully retrieves the pods. Kay, Tyler's sister, is throwing up, so Rain tends to her while Navarro visits the pods. When Kay is by herself, she tells Rain she is pregnant and begs her to keep it a secret. The three are still looking inside the station when all of a sudden they hear a recording discussing the station. It is owned by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, just like the mines. Romulus and Remus are the two sections of the Renaissance station. Wall paintings attest to the name's etymology in the well-known tale. As they explore, Bjorn becomes irritated with Andy's presence because he despises androids, and he says that Andy is not allowed to leave with them. Tyler expresses regret to confirm this, stating that the planet they are visiting does not permit androids. Andy, though, claims that it is okay, as what is best for Rain is also what is best for him. The group arrives at an abandoned but functional lab. While playing with a stun rod that he finds, Bjorn nearly trips over a hole in the ground, but Andy catches him in time. In addition, they discover a wounded android and discover that a chemical spill wrecked both him and the hole. The boys proceed forward till they reach the cryo chamber, the door of which opens barely partially. They may fit through the opening and see that the room is flooded. When Bjorn and Tyler try to take the fuel out of the compartment, Bjorn ends up freezing his fingertips. The door closes and an alarm goes off at that precise moment, trapping them. Andy tries to open the lock, but the extra clearance makes it impossible. According to the computer in the adjacent room, frozen aliens known as facehuggers are beginning to thaw within the cryo chamber. To save their pals, Navarro and Rain are forced to board the station. After discovering the broken android, Rain wants to see whether she can give Andy access to its credentials. When the android attempts to attack Rain after waking up, Navarro swiftly takes out its module to turn it off. The males receive the module from the girls as they dash to the lab through a small opening in the door. After Tyler inserts the module, Andy freezes and restarts. The facehuggers complete waking up at that point and emerge from the pods to crash into the water. Bjorn is found by a facehugger, who grips his leg and causes him to fall. The alien then leaps at Bjorn's face, but he dodges it and tosses it against the door. Tyler avoids a facehugger in the water at the same moment, but another one is climbing on Andy, who jumps and lands on Tyler's face. Bjorn uses the stun rod to force the alien to fall off as it tries to stick one of its appendages into Tyler's mouth. While Bjorn is being attacked by the facehugger, Tyler, who is unconscious, falls into the water and defends himself. When Rain tries to push the door open, Navarro declines to assist because she worries that the aliens will get away. As Bjorn fights the aliens, a facehugger pursues Tyler, who is now starting to wake up. Luckily, Andy also wakes up and throws the alien at the lights to kill it by grabbing its tail. The guys quickly flee as Andy taps the lock, causing the door to open this time. Regretfully, a void remains, and the facehuggers collaborate to restore it. The humans flee into another room and lock the door as the alien army begins hunting them. Before the door shuts, a facehugger makes it through and settles on Navarro's face. The facehugger gets its tail around her neck when the others hurry to help, but it is too late. It will kill her if they try to take it out by force. To everyone's surprise, Andy begins to explain that Navarro is receiving oxygen from the alien in order to survive. Compared to previously, he sounds less tense and more knowledgeable. Rain notices that the new module is causing this, but Andy prevents her from uninstalling it by claiming to have updated. He suggests turning on the broken android because he does not know how to remove the facehugger securely. After he is connected to the computer, he goes to sleep and announces himself as Rook, the science officer. He informs them that it is too late to save Navarro and that they should murder her because the facehugger is putting an alien implant inside of her. The xenomorph that is currently hanging lifeless from the hull's cables murdered the entire crew of the Nostromo, and it turns out that this station is the vessel that discovered the shipwreck. Its acid was also the source of all the harm. When the alien died, Rook sealed the station, but it was too late. Rain then gets an idea. Perhaps they could freeze the facehugger with cryonic liquid. Tyler fires the liquid at the alien, and they remove it from Navarro's face as soon as its tail starts to loosen. Tyler makes an attempt to kill it, but the facehugger gets away through the ground hole. While everyone is relieved that Navarro is okay, Rook informs them that there is a 60% possibility that she contains an alien creature. When Andy advises the group not to take Navarro back, Bjorn strikes him with the rod, sending him flying. Bjorn seizes the opportunity to run alongside Navarro while Rain stays to assist him. Andy hears something abruptly and rushes to the hallway, only to find Bjorn has closed the doors. When Bjorn rushes to the next door and swiftly shuts it, Andy grabs one in an attempt to keep it open. Andy, Rain, and Tyler are stranded in the station as a result. When the Corbalin is disconnected from the station, Navarro becomes ill before it can travel very far. She finds that, as Rook had anticipated, she has an alien inside her after applying a special light to her body. Then Navarro begins to have seizures, and Chestburster, an extraterrestrial, explodes out of her body, killing her. Without a pilot, the Corbalin begins to lose control and slams into the station, destroying a fuel tank and setting off a large explosion. It also causes Bjorn and Kay to pass out. The ship continues to float as it enters the hangar bay of the station, shattering a window and creating a vacuum. Although the door has thankfully closed just in time. However, this has reduced the station's stability, giving it just 47 minutes to smash into the planet's rings. As Rain and Tyler are about to enter a door, they discover a group of facehuggers on the other side of the station. They are attempting to figure out how to go across and get to their spacecraft. Rook, in the meantime, makes sure that the Z01 compound is still intact by checking the computer. Andy discovers that his instruction was superseded by the new module when it requests for assistance. His objective is to complete the station's job for Weyland-Yutani, not to assist Rain. Andy then gets back together with Rain and Tyler, sharing some information that he learned from Rook. Since the facehuggers are unable to detect a person's body temperature, they may increase the room's temperature to match their own and turn invisible. The three of them start moving throughout the room when Andy adjusts the thermostat to the right temperature. They have to work very hard to avoid reacting to the bodies they see around every corner. Kay wakes up on the Corbalin and heads out to find her friends. She discovers the skin that the chestburster left behind in the hallway before creating the cocoon that is currently hanging on the wall. Bjorn discovers her at that same moment, forcing her to retreat before he inserts the rod into the cocoon and charges it until the stick is destroyed by the alien's acid. The creature's tail emerges to sever Bjorn's face because this attack is insufficient. Bjorn is repeatedly hit by flowing acid, which eventually kills him. Kay runs to the door as a new xenomorph begins to emerge from the cocoon, but she is unable to open it, so she phones Tyler. She needs him to whisper directions to her because he is still in the room with the facehuggers. Before the alien can get to her, Kay finds a key and opens the door to flee. She stumbles off the Corbalin hatch, landing hard on the station's hangar because she is staring at the thing. The facehuggers are alerted by all the noise emanating from the microphones and leap to attack. Tyler throws a flare on the ground, causing the facehuggers to chase after its warmth while the trio quickly flees. When Andy gets to the door, he begins to close it because the trick does not last long, and the aliens are soon pursuing them once more. Rain and Tyler have to dash across quickly before the door shuts. Andy says he did the math and knew they would make it when Rain calls him out. The hangar bay sprinklers go off, giving Kay 30 minutes to live before the crash. She runs for cover as soon as she hears the alien approaching. As soon as the xenomorph passes directly overhead, Kay tries to reach the hangar door but instead sets off the alarm. Andy declines to unlock the door even though the trio suddenly arrives on the other side. The fact that he can see the xenomorph waiting indicates that it is baiting Kay. In an attempt to win him over, Rain informs him that Kay is expecting, but it does not succeed. The xenomorph soon grows weary of waiting and takes Kay with him. An enraged Andy responds that he has to decide what is best for the company when Rain smacks him and questions him about his directive. Then, after explaining, Andy forces Rain and Tyler into the elevator. To get Rook to unlock the hangar door and let them go, he needs to complete the task. When they get to the lab, they discover a capsule containing an odd liquid. Rook shows up on the computer screen and informs them that Weyland-Yutani built this station to study the aliens and use their fluids to improve humans because human bodies were never meant to travel the universe. The black liquid seen in Prometheus is this Z01 chemical. A rat is seen being crushed nearly to death in a video, but it rapidly recovers once the scientists inject it with the substance. As Andy prepares to transport all of the compound samples to the colony, Rain intervenes, pointing out the xenomorph on the surveillance video. Andy extracts 2 pulse guns from a cupboard and hands them to Rain and Tyler, instructing them to fire only in an emergency because an acid leak from the alien would rupture the hull. Unaware that the video is still playing, the 3 depart the lab. The dead monster they discovered inside the box was actually a mutant rat. Only 20 minutes remain before impact, so the 3 set out to cross the station. They discover a lot of xenomorph resin. They are horrified to find an entire alien hive on the walls when Andy switches on the lights in the adjacent hallway. When Tyler hears Kay's voice, he dashes into the hive, but Rain and Andy want to turn around and find another hallway. Rain pursues him, and together they witness a plethora of bodies, including Kay's, cocooned in the strange substance. After removing her, the 2 seem to point out that she has not had her implants yet because there is not a dead facehugger at her feet. Andy offers to give her a compound injection because she still has a very faint pulse. Rain interrupts Tyler before he can use it, stating that Kay might survive if they transport her to a cryo chamber and expressing her fear of the drug. They immediately flee the hive and enter another room upon hearing a xenomorph scream and approaching. Another xenomorph is there, attempting to attack Rain with its tail. Tyler rushes to her defense only to be stabbed in the process. The alien then uses Tyler's body to strike Andy, rendering him unconscious, and drag Tyler into the hive, where he is surrounded by other creatures and ultimately killed. Before the aliens can get to them, Rain and Kay dash into the elevator and escape. But Rain cannot stop worrying about her brother, so she tells Kay to return to the colony on the Corbalon and drops Kay and the samples at the hangar bay. Kay chooses to inject herself with the substance after Rain leaves. Rain arrives at the hive with 10 minutes to spare before impact, takes Andy's module out, and resets him. He returns to his previous persona upon waking up. The pair flees as the xenomorphs approach, but Rook will not unlock the doors for them because doing so could jeopardize the security of the base. Rook shows up on the Corbalon system and begs Kay to grant him entrance to the ship, while Rain angrily shoots the screen. Rain disables the station's gravity and starts shooting at the xenomorphs. Now their acid blood floats around instead of falling on the hall. With Andy holding her down, Rain shoots every creature without mercy until all of them are dead. Then the duo starts navigating the corridors while carefully avoiding the acid. However, Rain almost crashes against it, so she shoots her rifle to force a fall. Eventually, the duo makes it to the elevator shaft and plan to go up climbing since the elevator can't work without gravity. Andy makes a jump, but Rain can't move because a xenomorph grabs her leg. She immediately shoots its arm and begins floating up, unaware that the acid has created a hole in the door. Andy manages to hold onto the stairs while Rain tries to recover the rifle, which is floating away. At that moment, the gravity goes through a purge and Rain falls. The elevator is also coming down, but thankfully Andy catches it. Before she can crash on the ground, a xenomorph grabs Rain with its tail. As Rain desperately grabs onto the stairs trying to escape, the lack of gravity makes all the acid in the corridor fall and damage the hall, creating a vacuum effect. This slows down the xenomorphs climbing the shaft at the same time that Andy lets go of the elevator, which goes down at great speed and crushes all the creatures. Rain is safe on the stairs, and when the elevator reaches the ground, it covers the hole and stops the vacuum. Unfortunately, there's a xenomorph left in the shaft, and it approaches Rain together with a facehugger. Andy finds the rifle and comes down with open fire, killing both creatures in seconds. Suddenly, the computer finishes the countdown and the station starts sliding on the rings. Andy and Rain finally make to the ship and find Kay unconscious. Rain immediately activates the ship's autopilot, and the Corbalon manages to fly out of the station right before it fully crashes on the rings. Then Rain puts Kay in the cryopod and cuts the link to the station, so Rook can't mock them anymore. He's destroyed when the station crumbles. Rain puts Andy to sleep before she starts getting a cryopod ready for herself. She notices a screen alerting her of critical vitals and opens the other pod to find Kay screaming. The compound accelerated her pregnancy, and she now gives birth to a xenomorph-like cocoon. Rain immediately cuts the umbilical cord and takes it away to destroy it, but she has to drop it when she sees the acid. The cocoon opens, revealing a creepy baby inside. The acid burns through the floor and the cocoon lands in the cargo bay. When the ship detects that the cargo has been compromised, it shuts down the autopilot and changes it to manual. With a freezing ray in hand, Rain runs to the cargo bay and finds the cocoon empty, so she starts following the monstrous footprints. At the same time, Andy wakes up and checks on Kay, who is producing a mucus-like substance instead of milk. Her now-grown child appears and strikes down Andy before moving on top of its mother to feed, killing her. Rain shows up and tries to attack it, but the creature quickly disarms her and knocks her down. The broken freezing ray ejects frosty smoke that distracts the creature while Rain runs back to Andy, but he's too heavy to move. When Rain notices the thing pursuing her, she leaves by herself, locking the door behind her. As the temperature drops rapidly in this room as well, Rain dons a spacesuit in order to survive. Rain jumps inside the cargo bay and starts to release the manual locks, aiming to evacuate the entire bay along with the monster, just as the thing tries to force the door open. She swiftly unlocks the first 3 locks, but the creature knocks her down before she can unlock the 4th. When Rain spots the cocoon close by, it topples, allowing the acid to seep through the floor. The creature snatches her helmet and head when she tries to climb back up, even though her suit is roped to the ship to prevent her from floating away in the event of a fall. Observing that the monster is clinging to the bay with its tail, Rain tugs at her rope to release the final lock, which ejects the entire bay module and ultimately results in the creature's death when it crashes into the rings. The autopilot sensors detect that the ship is approaching the rings too closely, allowing Rain to safely ascend back before the call bell and take off. Rain puts Andy's injured body in a cryopod, takes out his module, and vows to cure him before hopping into a pod of her own, in the hopes that they would make it to a planet unscathed. Please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to turn on the notification if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.